Hello, I am Dr. Chandrashekhar, founder, coach, and someone deeply curious about what truly lasts. I want to explore the stories behind real impact and to help you uncover what it truly takes to build a meaningful legacy. Together, we'll sit down with visionaries, educators, and change makers, people who have walked the path and shaped lives, not just businesses. Welcome to the Legacy Blueprint. Welcome to another episode of the Legacy Blueprint with CSK, where we don't just talk success, we talk significance. In this episode titled Your Business is Your Blueprint, we explore how businesses, when built with intention, become far more than a vehicle for profiteering. It becomes a living, breathing legacy. And to bring this idea alive, we are joined by a visionary leader who is building not just an institution but impact. Dr. C. Jagadeesh Reddy, founder and managing director of Pristine Eye Hospitals, a surgeon, an entrepreneur, and a quiet trailblazer redefining community based eye care services. Dr. Reddy is a renowned cornea, cataract, and refractive surgeon trained at the prestigious L.V. Prasad Eye Institute and Wills Eye Hospitals in Philadelphia. He founded the Pristine Eye Hospitals with a mission to blend world class eye care with accessibility, empathy, and prevention. Under his leadership, the hospital has reached heights and created the Hyderabad's first center of excellence for dry eye awareness and treatment. And more recently, he inaugurated the Pristine Vision Foundation with an enduring impact on helping people becoming aware with preventive eye care services. Dr. Reddy will join us today to take us through the legacy blueprint in his own way of this episode of Business is Your Blueprint. Welcome, Dr. Jagadeesh Reddy.
Thank you so much, Chandra Garu. It's a pleasure being here with you.
Thank you. So, let's get started without much delay. When you first got into this venture of creating pristine eye care hospitals, eye hospitals, how did you look at it from the point of view of profit versus philosophy? And at what stage in this journey you thought that this could become a blueprint for my legacy itself?
So I've done my residency program in a government medical college where I've seen people of different categories. So who reaches to government medical college who are not affordable, and then they reach for service there. And have that empathy that was developed from the base of my initial training itself. And when I practice in an institute which has all cadres of people, where I could cater to those who cannot afford, but who's in a very VVVIP type of patients as well, we could see the difference, the way we treat them, the way we provide quality. And I like traveling. So I go around the world to deliver lectures. So as part of the academic build-up that I do for myself. So whenever I travel to countries, I usually visit clinics there. When I go for a conference, 3-4 days, I pick up a clinic which is one of the best in the city, and I go visit them and see their practices. When this concept of a hospital built over time for me, when I wanted to move from employment to starting a pristine eye hospitals, that's when I envisioned like putting everything in place. It has to be a place where you could deliver the best care wherever it is done. Like, for example, something you think in the US it's best, something may be good in the Europe, something may be good in the Australia, which I wanted to amalgamate and see how it fits to our local population and see that we provide that sort of a care. And this should be unique, and it should be able to fit everybody into it, and it should not ignore one group of people, and everybody should be part of this. And I thought that would be totally different to what a current private practice is being done at this point of time.
Fantastic. I mean, this all sounds very idealistic. It's aspirational. Bringing it all together, it definitely takes a lot of effort. But at the same time, I also understand, being an entrepreneur myself, that the ideology is there, the philosophy is there, but when you are trying to put it together brick by brick, there is a lot of challenges which we encounter. So when you were doing this, like going to abroad, practicing at a clinic there, getting a dipstick into what are their best practices, trying to bring all the things and putting it in one place, while it sounds very, very nice and amazing, how did you actually do it? Take us through that journey.
It was very difficult, to be frank, because being an institute, you're well protected, you have everything ready made, and then you just practice it. But good part, being an institute for long term helped me because I did my fellowship at the same place, and I started being a small consultant there. Then I became a head of a department at a very early stage. So then the administrative skills came up there. It's a lot of challenges, a lot of innovation, how I could do new things. So that part helped me a lot. So when I came out, I was not aware of any private practice, how it's done. I went and visited a couple of practices to see how it's done and see the facility, ambience, and all. I was not too impressed where I could replicate something here. So then I sat down and looked at how could I do this differently. So that's when came up with completely new things. Pick people who are not part of hospital background, who would design my hospital and give that ambience which they wanted. And technology part, because me being at a very, I was head of a department of cataract refractive surgery services, so I knew what are the new concepts that is into all machines that are available, and I knew what is the growth going to be with these new technology, and what is the benefit I'm going to give with to every patient that I see with this technology was important for me. So I did not look at a business angle here. For example, if you buy a machine, you look at what is the ROI of it, how much, when are you going to earn your money. I didn't do that business aspect, which I would say that's not good. You should do this as well, because I didn't involve any third person into this, because I didn't want to make it a business angle here at this point of time. So whatever I could do. So I got the best machines and I negotiated with the companies which they felt it was a privilege for them to have that particular machine with me, where they could help me out with the costings or payment patterns and all this stuff, where I didn't have an initial significant burden at one point of time. That was a good help that a lot of people did for me. So that's when we didn't compromise on the quality of equipment we did. We got the best in the city, and this could remain best for a long time, because not everybody changes their technology. And it's not that technology would make a huge difference in every aspect of it, but it does help, because I being a very small structure, and it has to be very meticulous. My visibility for the surgery has to be excellent for me to be a good surgery. So I need a good microscope. Eye is so small that you need a lot of measurements. These measurements would imply on doing certain steps in your surgery or planning your surgery. So I rely on multiple devices to get the most appropriate measurements, and this helps me customize things in such a way. It may not make a huge difference for a patient, but the quality of vision that he sees, that wow factor that comes after that. So vision is considered as having two aspects, quantity and quality. Whenever I do a surgery, you get 20/20. That's called normal vision. That's a quantity that we're measuring. That's what is measured everywhere. But how do we measure quality? Are we considering that? No, definitely not. So with the technology that we have now at Pristine Hospital, we measure some aspects of the eye. It's called aberrations, which dictate the quality of vision, and we decide on which lens to put, which laser to use, how the laser has to be customized. Such customization can be done to give them more happiness than what they were happy. So that itself would carry on a long way. So being trained, being an expert in certain things, if I don't practice everything, it doesn't help. So I want to put everything what I knew into everybody's eyes so that they see the best. So that was a goal. So hence it was difficult to initially for a lot of not only the financial aspects, a lot of permissions, building a team, but I'm fortunate to have a team that syncs with my ideology, and we continue doing this.
No, it's amazing you brought the team aspect. In fact, I was going there. So, having this vision, talking to them about quality, quantity, Yes, for a minute, let us forget and come back and say that, okay, this is the principle which guides almost every businesses, almost every human being. Because whatever may be the nature of the business or the sector we are in, the quality aspect and the quantity aspect has to be balanced. We'll come to that. But since you mentioned the team, can you take us through that conversation? Because you want to balance quality, quantity, go in for the best because of your belief system. You believe that anybody walking through that door for me should be experiencing the best. So that's there. But what is the conversation you have with your team? How do you translate this belief system to the team?
So s- the team includes from a watchman to a surgeon me. So it includes list of people in between, a receptionist, a counselor, an optometrist, and a OT assistant and a manager. Everybody includes a team. So syncing everybody's ideology to what you want to deliver, I think it's a difficult task that I had initially. But a lot of them worked with me earlier, and they knew my ethical pattern. They knew my way of working. They knew what I would expect from them. They knew what is best for the patient. So we come up with something called patient first. We don't compromise anything. Our time is, we don't bother. If a patient enters into an examination room, I am not concerned about what's happening outside that room. I give that ample amount of time for that patient to make sure the patient is happy. One, when your team sees that, the importance that you're giving to one patient, forgetting about all other hazels that you face there, that's where they get into your shoes as well. They take care of these patients very meticulously. If one patient is not happy, everybody reacts to that. Why is not happy? So they are empathetic from very old. You will get a 95-year-old to a 2-year-old who comes here. Everybody gels with them the way they require them to. It's not that how we want the patient to not behave accordingly. We make sure we customize things in such a way they're comfortable. So at Pristine hospitals, we've been doing a very ethical practice where a lot of people prefer coming for second opinions to us to see if they really require a surgery or not. And when my optometrist, who examines the patient before me, they come to me and tell they're absolutely fine why a surgery was advised for them. So they this is the question they come to me with. So we don't talk about whatever has happened past. We look at what is currently required for the patient. We tell them this is what it is, this is what you should do, and the surgery can wait for some more time. So this sort of a concept which I was practicing for quite some time is synced into the optometrist and other counselors and everybody. It's like, do not sell yourself is the thing. That's medicine is nothing but trust, empathy. If you don't have that, you're not fit to be there. Yes, sir.
What I hear from these words and what I get is your actions actually speak louder than words. You are leading by example. Your people around you, maybe they have watched you for a long time, they have traveled with you for a distance, but even the new people who have joined you in this journey, all of them watch you as an example. And I think as a leader for the audience and for the people who are watching this, the main thing here is your belief system translates into actual reality through your actions. So you need to demonstrate them, not just declare them to the world. By just saying, I believe in patient first, or I believe in quality, I believe in serve first, it's all fine. But then, how are you translating that to action? How are you demonstrating it daily? How are you walking the talk? That becomes equally important. And in spite of all this, there will be comparisons, there will be challenges. Like you mentioned, you have actually gone ahead and told your patients that you don't need the surgery right now, you can wait. Now, how many of them today in the real world, in the sense of doing business, how are they even making that comment? So, I think in that angle, did you, this is a question to you now, when you are about to say that, when you are knowing that if I do this, I might still not make that money because I'm running a business. And by saying not now to the surgery, you're actually sending away a customer, a potential customer. But what is that conversation which happens in your mind before you actually declare that to the patient? is there a thought which says, why are you doing it? Why don't you take it? Or if that thought comes, because we are all humans, how do you talk yourself out of it and still go ahead and do what you want to do?
That's a very valid question as of today. If you look at in medicine, medical practice, so I inc- no, am a I grew up in a very small family in a village. So I saw what poverty was amongst people. I did my schooling in one of the best schools, HPS. So, and I went to the best institutes. I traveled around. So I saw a broad range of things. So when you come here and that empathic angle, when you go and look at them, so the cost doesn't come to me at all, to be frank, because in the institute where I practice, we were practicing truly an ethical practice where we did not force anybody for surgeries. We had no interest in numbers. We had no pressure that we have to earn. But when you come to private practice, you have that pressure. You have to pay your bills every month. But if you start deviating from the norms, deviating practice, that what is required is important, but what is not required is not important. So you need to know when to keep this not required thing aside. What is required is what you need to do. Once you start deviating and getting this not required thing into the required bucket, there's no end to this. Every patient who walks into your clinic needs a surgery in that case. So that's why, like, we practice based on what we see in the numbers, what is the difficulty the patient has, and I don't look at, there are a lot of months I may not be doing what I need to pay for the bills, but it's fine. This month is not being doing good, but next month will do good. But you think that I'm sending a patient who requires this, who can be operated, but I'm not operating, and I'm sending them away. I'm losing money. This is what you would be thinking. But that same patient has gained a lot of trust from me. Now he goes back and tells this to 10 other people. This is the place you need to go where you get a genuine opinion. That itself is, I'm branding myself simply sitting in a room, not doing much there. So I'm happy practicing very ethical practice, not doing anything for the sake of money. That patient is happy what he got by visiting us, a genuine opinion, and he would like everybody to have such an opinion as well, which in turn help me grow, and I don't have to do any other ways of practicing to increase my bank balance.
Well, I completely agree with you because I've seen you for the last year and a half at least. But I know that your practice as Pristine Eye Hospitals is more than 3 years. In fact, you're celebrating your third anniversary in this month. So I've seen how you have built and grown step over step. I might not be privy to all the challenges you are going through in terms of finance or in terms of all the business challenges, but at least I know that here is one person who is doing an ethical practice and also able to scale it. And talking of scale, I want to make all our viewers and the audience visualize this particular analogy. We always talk about the thrill, whether it is the thrill of starting something, thrill of doing something for the first time, whatever it is. And we also say that there is no thrill, there is no kick, there is no point doing it. Business for a lot of people is thrill. But when you're talking about it, understand this, the thrill is not in the height, the thrill is in the slope. The taller you climb, and when you take that slope, that's where the thrill is. When you're actually enjoying that ride, that is a thrill. But it is equally same for compromising on your ethics. The slope is not a step down, it is just a gradation. So you start saying, it's okay, one time I will do it, then you're slightly sliding down, and then you're coming down the slope without even you realizing that the ethical framework with which you built something is now compromised. So when you say that, no, this patient really doesn't need the operation, and I'm okay to send that patient back because I believe this is the way I practice my practice, is something which takes a lot of courage, which takes a lot of conviction. And since we are talking legacy, that brings your legacy. You said a patient is going to go back and talk to 10 other patients and say that here's a man, or here's a practice, here's a clinic, or here's a hospital. Go talk to them, take the right opinion. You're also adding it to your legacy, where that patient will remember you for the rest of his life, that I met one doctor sometime in my life And that doctor actually told me this can wait because you don't need it right now. So, Dr. Reddy, we spoke about running an ethical practice. But if you are running an ethical practice, what about scale? Because it's all good and fine as long as it is one hospital, one location with you overseeing almost everything. But when you are expanding, which is what a business needs, and how are you scaling it up? How will this philosophy and this ideology of yours be scaled? What are your thoughts about it, and what have you planned for that?
Now, I would totally agree with you. Scaling an ethical practice, scaling a practice or a business which has been with some ideology is very difficult because this can get diluted at any point of time. So I would say, like in healthcare, being it involves trust and empathy. I think building the team, a right team, is very important at this aspect. So the doctors, the optometrists, and the other team members that you're going to make into your growth, I think you need to nurture them the way you want them to. So if you want to grow, for example, if I want to grow my hospitals, like I put another hospital and hired someone new and put them there, I can't keep tracking every day what's happening there. So I think someone who's been with you, someone who understands you, someone who sings with your ideology is the one person or a group of people who could carry this legacy in the same way you want it to. So we make sure one of the things that is very important is regular audits of every patient is important. So some of the files were removed randomly and these are audited. If this is the vision, was the surgery required, or if this was the surgery, this complication happened, why did it happen? So introspecting from time to time so that your ideology is not deviated to what it's happening. For example, at Pristine hospitals, if there is any complication, any untoward event that happens, we take care of the patient free of cost from there on. So because we make sure they're not burdened by anything that happens, because they were supposed to get something, they got something. So we make sure we fix everything that happens. So this sort of an empathetic angle has to be there. The patient's pain has to be received as your pain so that you give them what is required. So building a team is one thing which is very important. I would say, like whenever you are planning an expansion, start working on building your team in such a way they understand your ideology and they deliver what is required wherever they are.
So, build a team, have some checks and balances, have clear cut policies like what you mentioned. If anything untoward happens, you have a policy in place as a guardrail which will put the responsibility back on you to take care of that particular patient. So these are some of the things which are required even for a common man. Yes, you're running a business, you're running an enterprise, and that makes a lot of sense. But even as an individual, because some of our viewers and people who are watching the podcast and following this are all individuals, they also are asking this question that, okay, what do I do in my life? I think you gave an answer in a very subtle manner: introspection, reflection. What is that you want to do in life, and where have you come so far, and how are you doing it, and what is that thing can go better in a slight way which will make sense and meaning to your own existence and purpose. I think that introspection is important. As a business, you need to do that introspection. As an individual, you need to do that introspection, or as a community, or as a group of volunteers. Even there, this is very important, because legacy is not built once you leave the place. Legacy is built in your daily habits, the way you do things daily. Now, talking about community, I know that apart from Pristine Eye Hospitals, you are also passionately driving Pristine Vision Foundation. And in Pristine Vision Foundation, there are a lot of things which are very, very important and also pertinent causes for which you are pushing the needle forward. So, can you take us through about why was the need for a Pristine Vision Foundation, and what is the vision of the Pristine Vision Foundation?
That's a very important aspect of my practice. I would say, like I'm very proud that we thought of Pristine Vision Foundation, and I'll tell you why it is required. Because sorry. If you look at when I was practicing in an institute before, so I used to see a lot of complex cases and operate them. We were busy working in that. Once I started my practice, I started seeing the actual problem here. So when you're in an institute, everything is referred cases that come, which nobody else could deal with, and then you're able to handle those things. But when you're in a community, when you're in the society with a small practice, so what happens here is you get people what is the actual problems now. So when I started looking at these problems over a period of time, the couple of problems that stuck in my mind. So one is dry eye. So a lot of youngsters, especially the IT employees, I see them suffering with significant amount of dry eye because of the screen time that they're exposed to, and they're literally not aware of this problem. So it's going as a silent epidemic. Then I felt there's a threat to their vision, their quality of life or quality of vision, because as this progresses, they're going to have a lot of difficulties in future. And the second aspect that hit me was children, where we did screenings in few schools to look at what is the visual status of these, or what are the complaints they have. And we looked at least 30% of the kids have some sort of problem in the eyes. It could be a vision problem, it could be them having a power, it could be having a lazy eye, or it could be a squint eye, whatever it could be. But they've not been diagnosed. And it stuck my this thing very much. So I felt there's a need of some preventive care here. So that's when we thought of Pristine Vision Foundation, and we recently inaugurated the Pristine Vision Foundation. The goal with Pristine Vision Foundation is preventive medicine is one of the biggest things that we're going to go through. We're going to educate people. We're going to screen people. And once we understand the magnitude of the disease, the way we approach from there would be diversified. That we are looking at as we move forward. At this point of time, we're doing every effort to reach out to people in different format. For example, dry eye. Last month was Dry Eye Awareness Month globally. So people did not know much about dry eye. So we launched a campaign called Blink Break. So wherein you need to take a break from your screen time to blink, so that there is something that happens in your eye with a blink. There is oil that is produced with every blink that prevents evaporation of the tears. So if you understand this concept, you're going to take care of yourself for the rest of your life. If you don't understand, you have some changes in the eye happening. These are irreversible, and then you get to become very sensitive, and your productivity at work would decrease over a period of time. So through Pristine Vision Foundation, we're going to reach out to a lot of people to different platforms. It could be social media, it could be physical approach that we do, or submitting a lot of printed material, so that everybody understands the importance of these diseases, and then help us reach out to people who are at risk and make sure everybody is screened, and so that we understand the disease profile and then treat them accordingly as we move forward. So its magnitude is huge, to be frank. So once you get the numbers in place as we do the screenings, we will be able to help out a lot of individuals. We want this to be a chain reaction wherein we educate and they educate. We're trying to build ambassadors in this program, where we look at IT company, we have 2 3 ambassadors of that, where they would educate more people and they would add more ambassadors into the program, so that we want them to teach themselves. So their problem they understand better, so we don't have to get in there to teach them. So we as we move forward, that's the goal. So it will get amplified and everybody would know what this disease is. And Pristine Eye Hospitals through Pristine Vision Foundation will be in the forefront to lead this, so that we keep spreading the message as we move on.
No, I'm sure. I mean, when you were talking so much about dry eye, I was like looking back at my eyes as to, we are so much glued to screens and we're trying to look at all the time either your mobile screen or your tabs or television or computers. I think that blink break, is that what you said? Blink break.
Yes, it's blink break. So take a break to blink so that the oil is produced in your eyes.
Okay, so blink break is one place where we can kind of remember and remind ourselves that every 20 minutes you take a break. But what I see when you were talking about Pristine Vision Foundation, Pristine Eye Hospital, I was kind of looking at it from the point of view of here's one person who started a eye hospital. And if I understand business right, the fundamental philosophy of business is there is a patient needs service and care, and I'm here to give you that at a cost. That's the business model. But then there is another person, same man, but in another hat, saying, I'm starting a vision foundation which talks about preventive advocacy or preventive medicine, where I'm telling you to take care of yourself better. So eventually, you may not need me. It's a ironic situation. It's an oxymoron where one doesn't need the other, but still the same person is pushing the two together. I think that speaks a lot about your value system. And you said at the beginning of this podcast, you started saying, ethically, we need to look at it from the point of view of what is best for the patient, for the person who walking in. Now, you're looking at not just a person who's walking into that door, but you're also talking about how I can stop people from walking into that door through the Vision Foundation. I more power to you, doctor, and I'm really happy to learn about this kind of an aspect, because true legacy is all about, you don't make noise, but your silence speaks louder than your words. The Vision Foundation, I think, is that, because in my second or third episode, I speak about Ratan Tata, the silent giant he is of doing things without making headlines. And here I see that you are trying to do something of that magnitude through the Vision Foundation, where you're trying to create awareness among communities, corporates, even children you mentioned, how they can avoid and be better by using preventive medicine as their place. Fantastic. Finally, so we'll come towards the most important aspect I call in the podcast, which is watching this, listening to this. There are people who are either embarking on this journey and losing hope, saying, competition is too much. Do I really stand a chance? Or people who are already in this journey and who say that I'm not going anywhere. I started off with a good vision. I have a great ideology, but practicality and reality has beaten me out of that ideology. What is your message? I will not even use the word message. What's your words for them of encouragement, or maybe a resonant sharing? Like, what do you feel you want to tell, like, to them? Because they are all there who are trying to do their bit. And I believe human beings fundamentally are great people, great individuals who want to do good to the world. And entrepreneurs also, especially, want to make a change, make an impact, make a difference. What do you want to share to them?
No, I think when you were asking me that question, a lot of things were running in my mind. So, because everything that you said, I had to go through all this stuff when we started. So, when I started, like, I had no clue about this entrepreneurship. I have to run in hospital, except being very protective environment before. When I started off, I got into it saying that, let me make a difference. Was the goal which I got into this new hospital thing. So Pristine Hospitals was started with a vision saying that I should be different than any other practice in the city. So that's where I started. I'm good at my work. So you need to deliver that and show people that you are good at it and you would be delivering the best. So picking up all the practices, I started this. But as we move on, you get a lot of things. You get static. You get the stress as we move on. Every month is a challenge for you. And you look at your yearly growth. The growth may happen initially, after that it becomes stagnant. What is that you need to do? Then comes on looking at next step. So how do we scale up things? So I would say one of the important things that you could look at when you start something is collaborate. So I understood little late, but the more people you meet, the more people you share your vision, the more ideas get into you, the more connects you get into your different fields. I think that helped me a lot. So I met a lot of people in different fields. So they could come to me as a patient as well. So I keep chatting with them, I keep talking to them, and slowly the things that come out, the ideas that come out from them, or the suggestions that they give you, the connect that you develop with them leads you to a next level. So that helped me a lot to reach out to different ways where I'm projected, myself, my business is projected, and my vision is projected, and everything reaches in the right way, in the right platform, because you're not going and advertising yourself there. Okay, your vision is bought by them. They understood your vision, they understood your concept of delivering eye care, and they understood this ethical practices. So then they give you very genuine ideas. It could be technology, it could be your reach to a particular community, it could be how to manage your finances, it could be how to run the facility, it could be how to engulf new technology into your practice, anything. So I think collaborating is very important. I think meeting regularly people of different aspects, or talking to whoever is a customer or whoever is a patient who comes to you, understanding what they know about this business or their expertise, I think helped me a lot. And now a lot of my patients are like mentors or like philosophy guidance. Now whenever they come, they keep checking on me, how is it going now? So it's like that. So they're also into that.
They're invested.
Invested themselves into this as well indirectly, and they make sure I'm happy. They make sure everybody gets the right treatment. So I think this way, I think you will build a, it may take time, but you're going to build a legacy that is long lasting, and it's going to be a very satisfying entity as we move forward. I think you should not never be in a hurry to go up the graph, because the more up you go, the more pressure, the more likely of you're falling down. I think the more you have a slower growth and more stable growth, I think that would be a long term thing. Nobody can shake you, and you're going to stand very strong on your foot there.
Fantastic, fantastic. In fact, I'm tempted to ask you one more question. You meet a lot of patients. You have to do a lot of things, some which is very interesting and exciting for you, but I'm sure a lot of them are not as exciting as you would like to, because I know that as a doctor, as a professional, you enjoy your maximum time with patients, giving them the good care. By now, I've understood that. How do you manage your own energy? How do you maintain your energy at a very good state through the day? Because today I see a lot of us, we have that challenge. It's not about, or it's no more managing time, because all of us have figured out ways to manage our own time. But how do we manage our energy? Any tips on that?
So one of the thing that gives you a very satisfying feeling in healthcare is seeing someone happy because of you. Okay, so that makes me very happy. So I do a surgery and I go and see the patient on the first day after the surgery. The feeling that they give me, the happiness that they have on their face, what they missed all this while, and suddenly they see something totally different, and how their lifestyle is going to be modified now, and how they would enjoy good vision. This is what keeps me motivated all the time. So during the day, I know that I have to be at this point all the time and cater to as many people as walk in into the clinic. So everything else is distributed around this. So whatever comes, there's a meeting or you have something else done. So it all ends up outside that examination room. Once you get into the examination room, all the energy is focused on that. So you make sure even the first patient who walks into my clinic at 9 a.m. gets an equal amount of time and importance to the patient who walks into my clinic at 7 p.m. in the evening. So we don't change anything during the day. So everybody gets what is best for them at that point of time.
Fantastic. So, Dr. Jagdish, thank you so much for your time. We wish you the very best for both the Pristine Eye Hospitals as well as the Pristine Vision Foundation. And dry eyes, blink break is something which I am taking away from this particular conversation, apart from the fact that an ethical practice along with a scalable business can coexist. I mean, you brought that to the forefront and right center, that these two can coexist. And I'm really happy that in these few minutes, we were able to kind of travel from inception to conception to the execution part of your business. Thank you once again, and wishing you all the very best.
Thank you so much.